What up, YouTube? It's your girl, TT Chanel. You clicked the title, you read the page, a potential government shutdown. Now, if you're new to the channel, just hit that subscribe for the vibe. Listen, good vibes only. I'm all about spreading the word. I'm all about just putting y'all up on game. Alright, so hit that subscribe. We on the road to 4,000 subscribers. Now, if you don't know what a government shutdown is, don't panic. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know what it was neither. So I did my research, right? Now, a government shutdown happens when Congress is unable to agree upon funding for government-run agencies. I'm going to repeat this again. A government shutdown happens when Congress is unable to agree upon funding for government-run agencies. What could this mean? Does this affect me? Should I be worried? Any type of shutdown is never good. Okay? So that pretty much answers most of your questions. Now, shout out to CBS New York. Shout out to ABC News. I got a few news clips that we're going to run here, and we're just going to become more informed on this government shutdown. All right? Hope you feeling good. Hope you feeling great. If you're not feeling good, you didn't start your day off with a prayer, and you should be ashamed of yourself because God woke you up. All right? Let's go.
Ticks down to midnight Saturday. Lawmakers scrambling to come up with a solution to avoid a government shutdown. CBS News' Jessica Moore live in the newsroom with what's going on today. Hi, Jessica.
Hey, Chris. Congress is in crisis mode today, trying to pass 4 spending bills to keep some parts of the government open. Meanwhile, Speaker McCarthy is locked in a tight battle with hard-right members of his party who are pushing for dramatic spending cuts.
It'd be difficult the way we live today and the rising cost of living. It would be very, very difficult.
Charles Gilbert is one of many U.S. veterans worried that a government shutdown could mean loss of discounted health care and food if services at local military bases are shut down. According to the White House, a shutdown would mean at least 4 million federal workers won't get paid.
Do you listen to this? If the government shuts down, 4 million federal workers won't get paid. Delayed food safety inspections. That means that's the food that we're eating. Wake up. This is important.
Food safety inspections could be delayed. Even cancer research could be stalled. With just 5 days until a possible government shutdown, New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer is speaking out.
If they have their way, the ultra-right, they will hurt our veterans. They're going to hurt our military. They're going to hurt our children, our families, our
Shout out Jersey. I live in Jersey, from New York, but shout out Jersey.
seniors, and we can't afford that.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy appearing frustrated with his own party.
Why would they want to stop paying the troops or stop paying the border agents or the Coast Guard? I don't understand how that makes you stronger. I don't understand what point you're trying to make.
McCarthy says a group of hardline Republicans is lobbying for deep spending cuts and even pushing for a shutdown. The members, emboldened by former President Trump.
Oh, so is it the Republicans' fault? Is that what I got out of that? I got to bring that back a bit. Drop a comment, too. Let me know your thoughts.
Hardline Republicans is lobbying for deep spending cuts and even pushing for a shutdown. The members, emboldened by former President Trump, who posted on social media, quote, "Unless you get everything, shut it down." The White House called Trump's position, quote, "shameful." Today, the House is expected to vote on a package of bills to keep part of the government open, but it's unclear whether McCarthy has the support. Meanwhile, the Senate is trying to buy time with a short-term plan of its own.
Let's do it on a bipartisan basis, Democrats and Republicans together. Each side give a little, and let's get it done.
Important to note, Social Security payments will continue even if the government shuts down. But analysts say the impact of a shutdown would go far beyond the government, hitting the private sector as well. And President Biden says a shutdown would disproportionately impact Black Americans. Live in
I hear that?
the newsroom, Jessica Moore,
It would impact Black Americans.
CBS 2 News.
Okay, Jessica, thank you.
All right, we got more news. Shout out to CBN News. Now, in this news clip, we're going to find out how the government shutdown would affect millions of Americans. All right, shout out to CBN News. Hit that subscribe, drop your comments. Listen, I ain't going to lie. I'm a little concerned. Because, if it was like a COVID scare, I'll say shut it down because health is wealth. But, like, a government shutdown, this is kind of scary. And it's just like, what's next? If that could shut down, what's next,
Pay for millions of federal workers is on the line. The federal government is heading toward a closure that would disrupt many services. The issue is in the House of Representatives, where a number of Republicans are demanding federal spending cuts. CBN Washington correspondent Hillary Powell is at the Capitol tonight with our top story. Hillary, what's the timeline on all of this?
Jenna, it really is a countdown in a shutdown for the countdown. Lawmakers here on Capitol Hill really only have until the weekend to reach a federal funding deal for the new fiscal year, which starts on October 1st. And if an agreement is reached, it would save millions of Americans, including military families, from receiving a pause on their paychecks. But if there is a shutdown, workers deemed essential will have to keep working without getting pay.
Did y'all hear that? I'm going to bring that back because this shutdown is very serious. Listen, if you work for the government, listen to this. If you know somebody that worked for the government, this is serious shit.
Is reached, it would save millions of Americans, including military families, from receiving a pause on their paychecks. But if there is a shutdown,
listen, if there is a shutdown,
workers deemed essential will have to keep working without getting pay. In North Carolina's picturesque Blue Ridge Parkway, the next paycheck of 150 federal workers depends on congressional lawmakers.
I get annoyed that they can't just get along and compromise.
So do the federal workers who are set to be furloughed without pay.
Yeah, and this is what killed me with Republicans, man. What's the problem? Why do you guys feel like you should take, like, why do you feel like, because you guys put your money in dumb shit all the time. Like, I was watching this documentary on Netflix when niggas spent millions of dollars on military weapons and the shit was all trash. So why y'all want to take from the lower class, the middle class Americans, you fuck niggas?
If Congress fails to provide funding for the fiscal year starting October 1st. White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre says meeting the deadline is imperative, especially for families using WIC assistance.
We just heard the Secretary of Agriculture lay out what will happen to women and children, 7 million women and children who are part of the WIC program across the country. 7 million if this shutdown happens. And this is indeed a Republican shutdown.
Congress often relies on a so-called continuing resolution to provide money necessary to fund government offices while budget talks continue. Hardline Republicans are against any stopgap solution, threatening to keep the government shut down until Congress negotiates a dozen separate bills needed to fund the government, an effort that typically takes until December at the earliest. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said,
"That's a long time. We in September, they talking about December."
As holdouts within his own party are starting to make concessions on spending.
So let's get this going. Let's make sure the government stays open while we finish doing our job, passing all the individual bills and getting this done.
Under a shutdown, affected areas include health programs, Social Security, and Medicare, among others. People applying for government services like clinical trials, firearm permits, and passports could also see delays. In 2018, the latest and longest government shutdown lasted 5 weeks under former President Donald Trump's administration. At the time, federal workers like Marilyn Carruthers resorted to paying monthly bills with credit cards.
Our mortgage, our gas, electric, trash, water bills.
Okay, now if a funding agreement is not reached, then a shutdown will officially begin 12:01 a.m. on October 1st if that agreement is not met and that president does not sign it into law. Jenna?
Hillary, what about the presidential pay and Congress in all of this?
It's a good question. The president and members of Congress will continue to work and also continue to get paid. But like millions of people across the country,
so the Congress, they still get paid, but the Americans get the hard-working Americans get the shitty end of the stick, man. This is fucked up, man. Y'all drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts.